Yes, Madan. Yes, 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 yes. Good to see Himalayas in Nepal right now.
Yes.
So
It is
yeah.
so kind of you to come here again and be there to direct us. And we had already talked about discipline in one video that was not saved. So let us again. You can again repeat those words because repetition is also a very required thing also for us.
Yes, 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 yes. The word discipline, for example, like the which is a word which is not very used right now. It's not a word which is famous in that way, which everyone speaks about or people talk about. It's a word which is unwanted. People don't like this word. Okay, if you ask young people, even anyone, no one likes discipline, right?
Yes.
No one likes the word discipline. Okay, so it is one of those words which is seldom used, rarely used in nowadays. Now, even that word from a Vedic point of view, okay, has a different meaning, than what is understood right now. Earlier in the Vedic times, rishis had disciples. Okay, they called shishyas in Sanskrit, disciples. Now, the disciple word comes from discipline only. Okay, they cannot be disciple without discipline, right? It is the core root of the word disciple, discipline. Okay, now there are two kinds of discipline. Even discipline is not the same thing. Like for example, right now, if someone wants to has some wanting, a desire in this world, and they want to achieve something in this world, okay, then they need what? Discipline, right? To in order to achieve whatever they want. So then they will work hard, do whatever is required to get whatever they want in this world, right? As per their wanting. Okay. So that is one kind of discipline. Okay. There's a second kind of discipline, which is different from the first kind. The second kind of discipline comes into play when you want to get out of cycle of
Button.
birth and death. If you want to get out of this world, okay, and you don't want to take birth again, you don't want to be stuck in this cycle of birth and death. So the discipline which is required to achieve this goal is a very different discipline. Okay. Okay. So we have to understand the difference between two disciplines. Okay. One, to achieve things within this world. Second, to achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death or getting exit out of this world. Okay. So there are two things. What the difference is that in the first one, you can still go by your own self. Okay. You'll do the work, you decide what you have to do, you do as you want to do, you go as per yourself in the first one, where you are trying to achieve something in this world. Okay. But when you want to get out of the cycle of birth and death, then the discipline which is required is different because you have to go not by yourself, but by higher and divine. Okay. So then you will have to go as per higher and divine. Okay. So that is a totally different discipline which is required. And most people find the second discipline tougher, to go by what someone else is saying. Okay. You have to act according to that. So that's why when Arjun, from the Vedic stories, like Vedic texts, that Arjun and Krishna, everyone knows about that story mostly, especially in Nepal and where you are calling me from. So Arjun did what Krishna asked him to do. Like, okay, Arjun did not go by his own thought or own will. Okay. It was not Arjun's ambition to win the war or to get the kingdom, anything. It was not his own ambition. Okay. So whatever he did in the war, he did because Krishna told him to do that. So it takes more discipline to do that when you don't want something. Okay, and you still do the thing. Okay, that's what Arjun did. Okay. So that is the discipline which kind of discipline which takes you out of the cycle of birth and death. where you go as per higher and divine will, not your own will. Okay, those who go by their own will can different times find uh, that they can achieve things on this plane, on this level, on this in this world. They can achieve things by hard work and discipline. Okay, but that is a different kind of discipline. The discipline which is required to get out of this world, this cycle of birth and death, okay, is a different discipline. And that requires sublimation of yourself, of your ego to higher and divine. It requires alignment of your own will with the divine will. Okay. So that is a much more harder discipline. But it is more rewarding. Okay. So more rewarding in the sense because the reality is that most beings do not know what to do out here. You know, they don't have the navigation to know what action to do, what is the correct action on this plane. Okay. So if some higher being like a rishi, like you should tell, they tell this is what you should do, then doing that takes away a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, a lot of anxiety from you, because then you don't have to be anxious. Okay, what should I do? What should I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Okay, so it is nice in that way. It's helpful. It's easy in that way. But still, most people find it difficult because most people are not wanting to give away their own navigation. Okay, they want to be in charge of their what they do. Okay, they don't want higher and divine to be in charge of that. Okay, so that's why this discipline is appears tougher to people of right now. In Vedic times, the disciples who were disciples of shishas of rishis and stuff, they found it very easy to do that because they had reached that point where they understood that this being knows more than me. So they know what is better and what is right and what will be the best thing, and to go according to that. And then they used to go according to that. And in a disciplined manner, like when you do something fully and properly. You know, you don't cut corners. You do everything as it is meant to be done. Okay. So this is an intro about discipline in these times. So youth has to decide whether it wants to learn what to do and then apply it. That application is discipline. Okay. Okay. And that's why discipline is a such an important thing in discipleship. So a lot of people want to be disciples, but they don't want to do the discipline. Okay. So, but there is no disciple without discipline. And without discipline, you can't achieve any kind of goal, right? Whether in this world or getting out of this world. Okay. So that is an important thing. And the quicker anybody understands this and faces this fact, the easier their journey can start. You know, the quicker their journey can begin.
Yes. And about different types of discipline, like for our body, mind, and soul. So, can you describe more about that also? What kind of?
See, discipline of the body, okay, is the only discipline on this plane. I've explained many times before that once you control the body, okay, mind will automatically get controlled. And through that, you will do the right action then as per higher and divine. For doing action on this body, you need discipline over this body, right? What else do you need? You need only discipline over this body. Okay, so do the right action, do centering. I've told centering, whether you're counting, centering, repeating pure principles from the mouth or praises from the mouth. All of that is comes under physical discipline, right? Because on this plane you have a physical body. Okay, so all discipline will become physical. Mental will automatically align with the physical. Okay, and through the right action, your spirit will grow. So discipline is only physical. on the physical plane where we are right now. Okay, it's purely physical. So, and even that discipline, what discipline to do in the physical, has to be told by some higher being. Otherwise, beings would not know what to do. Some beings will think going to gym is a discipline. Okay, they are lifting weights and doing that things, then that is some discipline. Okay, but that is not discipline of the body. That is torturing the body. Okay, so how to use the physical body first has to be learned from some higher being and then applied. And that application every day is discipline. So discipline is always physical. Yes.
And about diet also then comes in that bodily discipline. And in diet you
Yeah.
tell beautifully about solar and lunar diets.
Yeah.
Solar is
Yeah.
wheat and other grains, and lunar uh,
Yes.
is
Right. Yeah. I mean, balancing
balance.
diet means balance. Balanced diet, vegetarian diet, then balanced diet. Okay, because what you put into the body. So if you put the right things in the body, then it's easier for you to control the body after that. Once you eat outside food and stuff, and you eat that kind of food, tamasic food, then what happens? Your vibrations get a certain way, then it becomes harder for you to control your body, isn't it? Like more, like, and a lot of times you might get like problem stomach ache and all kinds of things. Okay, once you're in that situation, it's hard to do anything. When your stomach goes bad, can you do anything at the time? You can't do anything, right? Your action ceases. So that's common sense. There's a common sense taking care of this instrument called human body. Okay, and that also in these days has to be learned, because that's not common knowledge now. Common sense is not common knowledge anymore. So people have to learn that, and people have to learn that from someone who knows. Okay, so again comes that you learn these things from some being who knows. So again, you have to sublimate your own will to someone else's will, which is a discipline within itself. Okay, to do that. Okay, so and then after that, all the discipline here is with the whether it's diet, it's all connected to the body, right?
Yes,
Control of the body, centering, posture, repetition from mouth,
yes,
grounding, connecting with nature, everything has to do with the
body.
body. So discipline is of the body. Like even when people try to achieve things in this world, they keep that they go in time wherever they need to.
Yes,
They do whatever they put their body in whatever way is required to achieve that
yes,
goal. So the same thing applies to this. Okay. So one has to have the discipline of the body first, like basic commonsensical things. Learn that, apply that, and then apply the other things which have to be done once, because once you've eaten, you have energy. What to do with that energy, how to use that energy, and that is also needs to be applied. So
and all the foods can be classified into solar or lunar or some other ways also.
see, there are foods of all different grahas.
Grows.
Okay, yeah, but one doesn't need to go that much into everything. There are little bits of things required for everything. Like you can have some fruit, you can have some vegetables, you can have dal. There are different things, okay, which are connected to different grahas. But main thing is like rice and wheat are the sun and moon are basic polarities, because our channels is a right side channel and a left side channel in the body. So the balancing of that happens from those two foods, which we call an in Sanskrit.
Yes.
The basic an, rice and wheat are what an.
Mm.
Okay, so then they are the basic foods, and there are other foods like vegetables, lentils, and all of that which you have every day.
Yes.
So, but one doesn't need to go that much into that
Yes.
in that way in terms of balancing. That's the solar and lunar balancing is more important.
More important.
Yes.
Yes. And you had told once that red and yellow dals in summer and black and other in winter.
Yeah, because with any food there is a common sense. If you're in a colder climate, you will eat food which generates more heat.
More heat.
If you're in a warmer climate, you want to eat food which generates more cooling, right?
yes,
That is common sense in every food, and all foods can be only had in a balanced way. You can't eat too much of this or too much of that. That'll cause you problem. So balance is automatic in all things. It will apply to food and diet in every way as well. So there has to be a sense to what food you're eating and how much you're eating.
and the onion and garlic also. Garlic in
Yeah. Yeah.
winter.
I mean, yeah. See,
What?
garlic also, what garlic is for actually antibacterial, it is like anti-pollution.
Yes,
So if you're living more in a polluted environment, more, then you can have garlic to save yourself from that. If you're living in more nature, air is clean, that thing is clean, then you don't need garlic. Okay, water is clean, everything is clean. Okay, so everything depending on the time and situation and place, and what is your surrounding, what is your atmosphere, where are you living. So everything has to make sense on the basis of that. Okay, so right now, if you're in Himalayas, like people can eat different nuts which are
yes,
more heat producing. But if you're in the hot tropical climate somewhere and you eat the same nuts, that will not do you good. So it depends on where you are and what kind of environment you are in. And learning all of that again requires guidance because people do not know those things anymore. So for that, they have to find a being whom they want to learn from,
yes,
okay, and then have the discipline to follow whatever is being told.
yes. The birds are responding to your sounds here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. You can record them later, like the bird song. It is nice to
Can you
like,
hear it
yeah,
there
because
also?
yeah,
Can you hear it there also? Some
yeah, I can hear a little bit,
little
but
bit.
it'll be more loud where you are, like, compared to
It
it
is.
doesn't come that much through
Yes, yes,
the net, but it's good. It's good to that thing, and I think if people just understand this two things which I said today, that'll be quite good. You know, like because people always have this question about discipline to achieve things in this world,
yes,
like and the discipline to achieve what they call moksha in Sanskrit, which is liberation from cycle of birth and death. Okay, so what is the difference between two disciplines? So in one you can go by your own thing, own will, own mind, own that thing, and the other you can't. You have to give that up. Okay, so that requires more discipline. Okay, so yeah. So this is an important point I wanted to make clear to young people, and especially beings who have to make a decision right now as to what direction they want to take all around the world, not just Nepal, anywhere, you know. So that because this is a big question, because people think that discipline is required even to achieve things in this world,
yes,
you know, like even to for your exam, you have to study and do whatever, and you know, but that is a different kind of discipline. Yeah, and a lot of times that achievement is of not of any use. It's not of much use. It might look like it is of use, but in real terms, it's not of much use. So it's like wasted time and effort and discipline.
yeah,
And finally, the end result is nothing bliss giving. Like,
yes. For some earning and for getting some certificate or like that is only the use. But
yeah,
for the
yeah, and that too also when beings go in the other way, they'll find that different pathways open up to them. Like things work out. Finally, you have to out here. You just need to eat and drink and sleep to survive. Okay, and that survival is usually taken care of if you carry on in the right path, you know, in the correct path. And once you are disciplined enough to sublimate your will to higher will, you will have enough discipline to survive in this world. Okay. That is not going to be a problem. Okay. The beings are lazy, then they're lazy anyways. So then survival is tough anyways, but if you have enough discipline to do that, like if Arjuna had enough discipline to fight the Mahabharata war, right? It's a tough thing to fight the war, right? It's not easy, right? So then for him to survive will not be a hard thing at all. So yes, yes,
And Peace Gita in English, there in people in Nepal youth have liked it, many.
yes,
Mm,
yes. That's good because it's coming out in Hindi now,
Hindi
so
now.
it's getting printed in Hindi.
It is
So
already done or
yeah,
about to be done?
yeah, it is going to get printed by the end of this month. It should be done. So then you can have copies in Nepal, and then people can learn, those who want to learn.
Yes, in
And
Hindi also.
yeah, because my whole thing is about getting out of this matrix, getting out of this world. So that book deals with that. So which is not what many people care about, but those whosoever care about, who are tired of cyclopathy and that, who don't want to be in this process over and over again, it's for them. So those kind of people who are serious about that and who have sort of curiosity about that, then they should read Peace Gita first.
Do you have anything to add?
No, this is it. Like I think this is a point which people need to, like, in these days attention span is very small anyways. So if one point is there, people should understand that one point about discipline and the two types of discipline, and so that should be good enough for today. So
It was so kind of you to direct us.
yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, Madan. So the thing with the word discipline is that, like youth wants to run away from it, and most people want to. So a very good exercise for that is that you should repeat that word, discipline. You know, that I want discipline. That I'm going to have discipline. If you repeat these kind of sentences, then it is good for you. Just to repeat that. Okay. After that, you say, I want my well-being. I want my good. Then the next sentence after that I'm ready to do the discipline for that. I'm ready to do the discipline for that. These kind of sentences are always good. Okay. For so like that take you closer to discipline. Then discipline doesn't become your enemy. It becomes your friend.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to make it your friend, not your. Most people treat it as like enemy right now. So it has to become a friend, and by repetition of that, you can do that. Okay. And you were asking something about, yeah, the word discipline, root in English,
Yes, root, yes.
which comes from die means diverse, many.
Direct.
Okay. Sai is cutting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cutting, like scissors cutting.
Yes.
Many cuttings of pline. Okay. P lines. Okay. So P means like a fractal. Okay. Okay. And it has many, branches
Branches.
and lines, and branches has lines, like you have branches of trees behind you, then each
Yes.
one is a line, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So all these lines, and then making sure that all of those cuttings are right, which means all of your actions fall within the fractal, within the divine will fractal. So that's what discipline finally is, that you do every action, which is each action is a line,
Yes.
okay, within the divine fractal, which means as per the divine will. You don't act by your own will or own that thing. Then you might go by the divine will, that line, or you might go on another line. Okay. And if you create another line, that discipline will be gone. Okay. So when you have to follow those exact pathways laid on
Yes.
the deck. So that's what discipline actually means. Like that
And
perfect harmonization with the lines, which are created by divine already. They're P lines, you know, and it's a diverse branching. You know, it has so much, that thing, it's so complicated, the whole thing, that you cannot even like imagine it, the pathways and that things. So just aligning with that fully in every action. So it's called discipline. Okay. So that's, yeah. So
And in Sanskrit, it is called Anusasan, right? Hindi, Sanskrit, Nepali.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then root,
yeah.
yes.
Rudanush, like Shasan, you know what Shasan is?
Sasan, yes. Ruling or something.
Ruling, like, yeah. Anu, like that thing, you know, the divine spark. Anu is like the divine spark, the divine atom, the divine,
Anu,
that,
yes, yes.
yeah. So the rule of divine,
Yes.
its rule, not your rule, not my Shasan.
Not my Sasan, yes.
Yeah. It's,
Rule of the atom or something.
yeah, yeah, rule of the divine, like
Yes.
ginseng, spark, force.
Spark.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it is not, so it's very clear what it's saying. Shasan,
Yes.
you know what Shasan is, okay, and you know what that thing. So you know what it is saying. It is saying the same thing. English, it is saying in terms of fractal and lines and that thing. It is making it more scientific in that way.
Yes.
In Sanskrit, it is saying it in a very overall way, like the same thing.
Yes.
It's like Arjun went as per Krishna's will.
Yes. Yes.
So who was doing the Shasan? Krishna was doing the Shasan or Arjun was doing Shasan?
Krishna was.
Yeah. So which is like divine, more divine, that will should do the Shasan. But
Yes.
out here, everyone wants to do their own Shasan. They don't want to go by divine. Okay. So, so the word is quite clear, isn't it? What Anu Shasan is, like you say. So I mean, to aligning with the divine will is Anushasana. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Then you say like you rule, not me. Yes. Yes. Because any amount of thoughts, any amount of feelings can come in you, which will not allow you to go align with the divine will. Okay. Okay. And discipline is required to ignore all those things and still align with divine. Okay. So that's, from both words, it's clear, like whether it's English or whether it's Sanskrit. And
Yes.
in Hindi, it's also Anushasan, same from Sanskrit. So,
Yes.
and I think in Nepali also
Yes.
same. So, so we have done that too, and I think that'll be enough for people to digest.
Okay.